We as Africans, we don't really help each other. For whatever reason, it's hard for us to really help each other. For us that live here, when we go back home, a lot of people see us as either a failure or a success, and there is no in between.
Right.
So, and then failure, success in their eyes, they don't know what you're being through here. They don't know, the time where you barely have enough money to eat.
Wow.
What
can you teach me right now? You are as Bostonian as anybody, because luckily we are in a country where an American, a Bostonian, is just somebody who left somewhere and ended up there and adopted it, and now they're fully integrated, and they're part of that Boston. I call it a cult because it's different. So after all these years, you have I'll discount that 6 months and the year or two you did in New York.
Bostonian through
right? So after all that experience, have you experienced from when you came as a teenager to now? Have you experienced any challenges, right, that you attribute to, that challenge right there, or that incident or that issue right there, it happened surely because of the color of my skin?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. People say that Boston is one of the most racist places in America. I don't know if it's totally true, but if people are saying that, it's for sure because a lot of people have felt that. Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna use the R word.
Yes.
Because it's
That's
a
why
little
I call
bit
it challenges.
it's a little bit too heavy.
It can be heavy. Yeah.
It can be heavy, and we're not about to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've met challenges, and then I knew that some of those challenges is because of the color of my skin, because of the color of my tongue, so accent.
Yes.
And yeah, so whether it's job related, whether it's just on the street,
like in a professional setting and
professional
socially,
setting, or even looking for apartments, and your name is Michael, right? So Michael is easy to swallow, but
yes, until
when your name is Habib, and remember, I came in 2002. That's like about
after 2001,
right after 2001, after 9/11, right?
Yes,
so things were still very, very heavy. So when your name is Habib, and they were like, Habib, because usually, right, when you put an application, they look on the paper, they see it.
That's what they see first. Yeah.
That's the
first indicator. Yeah.
So already when you look at the name on the paper, you already have an image. Whether it's right or wrong, we can't change that. That's
that's what how the mind works. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I know I've been eliminated from positions, or I showed up to
that's interesting,
to interviews, and then I didn't get the interviews, or I didn't get the position, not because I didn't.
Wow.
I wasn't a good candidate, but I'm pretty sure it was because I was not of a certain color.
I'll tell you a story to validate that. 2003, I came 2003. I came 2004. So between 2004 2006 in Boston, I was looking for a job. Applied Gap. To go and just be a restocker, just put t-shirts and hoodies back, because I was looking for a job. I apply my name, Michael Demba, and so there's just like you said, there's an assumption to what a Michael will look like, especially for an American. So I show up at the interview. It was two of us. I was there, and a white guy was there in the waiting room. The manager who was supposed to interview walked straight to the guy and said, Michael.
Yep.
And then I said, oh, that's me. She turned around, oh, you Michael? I said, yeah. I said, okay, Give me give me a few minutes. So she was coming for Michael. Now I tell her who Michael is. Said now I should give her a few minutes, and then that dude still went in before me.
Before you, yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll get this job, and I didn't get the job.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So just to tell you the name, there's already an image painted, and she was surprised by who Michael was. So it's interesting that you mentioned that for your name, and I'm asking about challenges you face from this color of your skin. I forgot that in addition to that, for you,
even before the
color of your skin is your name.
It's the name.
And that takes me to what I wanted to know, right? So with all those challenges, you're not going to change your name, not for anybody. You're not going to change the color of your skin. You won't. So to know that all of that is slightly a disadvantage, have you ever thought about it like, okay, let me turn this around. What makes it still worth it to be around that as opposed to where your name and color of your skin won't be a challenge?
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Worth it or not, you have no choice, right?
No
you
choice.
You can't become. I mean, you can become, I don't know, Michael Bush if you want to. It's just a matter of signing paperwork and then paying, I don't know what the fees are, and then boom, you become Michael Bush or even Barack Obama if you want to. If you want to be, Donald Trump, you can become Donald Trump, but you cannot change what you look like. Yes. I mean, you can attempt to.
Oh, please don't.
You can attempt. Yes. Where we come from, we know people have.
Oh yeah, they try, but it's still visible and not in a pleasant way.
But not in a pleasant way. Yeah, it's true. Sorry to anyone. Please don't get.
I'm sorry.
Like that.
Please don't.
But the truth is, the nose still there. The African, like your blackness is still there, and blackness is not a bad word, right?
No, it's not. No,
you're still there. Those features are still there.
Yeah.
So you have no choice. So the only choice you have now is to use it at your advantage. And recently, I was talking to a very good friend of mine, who was, I was complaining a little bit about work, and just nothing major, just a usual like, man, this or that, and then she, she's white. White lady she's from France, but she's been living in Boston for a long time.
Yeah.
So she said, "Hey Habib, you know what? Use your color as an advantage." And I never thought about it that way. I'm like, yeah, I can use my color as an advantage, especially today where people are talking about DEI, including, you have to now have a certain quota of black people in your company. Man, use advantage.
Yeah.
Use it. Now you become something that companies are looking for. Now you become, so out of a sudden, something that is negative, and for me, it is negative. I don't want you to see me as a black candidate.
Please don't hire me because I'm your black candidate.
No, but if that's my advantage.
But if it's the system already, you might as well.
You might as well use it.
Yeah.
And she told me herself, she's like, and myself, I'm going to use the fact that I'm a female, because they need to have a certain female on at a certain level of the company, because she's a little bit higher up in her company. So she's like, I'm gonna milk that. So my number one advice is, just like the great Beyonce says, when life gives you lemon, make lemonade.
Lemonade, the philosopher.
Turn that into an advantage. And I'm pretty sure if you think really hard, that happened to you before.
Yeah, I think so too.
What happened to me is, one time I was pulled over by the cops. I was driving a friend's car, and the tail light was not working or something like that. I got pulled. I didn't do anything bad as a driver. Get pulled over. There was something wrong with the car that the cops saw. And I didn't have my driver's license on me. I left it at home. And I was around the Boston University area.
Okay.
And at that time I lived in Medford. So I left my wallet, wallet at home and stuff. So the cop pulled me over. It was the first time in my life that a cop pulled me over.
That was your first pullover, okay.
And I got very scared. So he started asking me questions, and I did everything wrong. I lied. I gave the wrong name. I gave the wrong birthday, so I was trying to give my friend's name and my friend's birthday, but I was so nervous that I couldn't even give a straight
You
lie.
forgot the birthday. Yeah.
So the cop was like, all right, something's going on here. I'm gonna give you one last chance to come up clean to me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because
so
they
this
could
is what
see it.
happened.
Yeah.
And then I calmed down and I told him everything.
Yeah.
And he said, all right, call your friend and tell him to come pick up the car, and I'm waiting here. So I called my friend and he came to pick up the car, and I got nothing, not even a warning.
Oh, beautiful.
So years later, right, I was telling one of my in-laws that story, and then she said, you know what happened? The guy heard your accent. He knew that you're not from here. He knew that you're around Boston University, so that means that you have a lot of students and things like that. So he knew that you're not the stereotype that he knows, and that's the reason why he let you go. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me that the disadvantage, something that I've always seen as a disadvantage, can be an advantage, and that's without me trying.
Yes.
So let's try it. Let's use it at our advantage.
It's interesting that you've reversed this on me that way. So now I'm thinking about it, just like you said, and for me, I'm looking at challenges that you faced, because it just comes with it, and you face those challenges, but it's all worth it. But you turn it worth it to hey, left with no choice, have to adapt, have to figure out what the silver lining is, have to find, whatever the advantage is. And you're mentioning things that you are who you are already, you can't change that. But whatever the system brings with who you are already, you can tap into what to take advantage of, maximize it as much as possible, because it's not something you're going to change. And that's what you're mentioning. That's something I'm picking up. And wow, that's just incredible. And here, this is something that a lot of Africans will listen to. Hopefully somebody is picking that up just like I just did, where, all right, you know what is there already. You know the negative aspects of it. Grab the positive, take as much as advantage as possible in just who you are and the things that you can change, right? That makes me go to this point where, all right, here you are, an African, you know that you have to navigate certain things that you have no control over in this country, right? It's now your country. You are as part of America as anybody that came here, apart from the Red Indians. So, if you expand your family here, whether it's kids, whether it's bringing a parent, and they're all here with you. How have you learned enough to be able to raise a family here? Because it will be different from what you know, what your parents taught you, how they raised you. Have you learned enough to know how to navigate as far as what you pass on, what you teach? Do you feel confident?
Confident, no. Hopeful, yes. Because there is no books about raising family. There's no books about that type of thing. So whatever knowledge I have, I will share that knowledge. I will educate my kids, right? So I will tell them things that, for example, things that I never worried about. Especially as a black man in Africa, in America, you have to worry about certain things. I didn't grow up with those things, so for the longest time, I never had those worries. So us Africans, we don't necessarily have the same reality as African Americans, because they grew up here with a total different set of realities. So when we come, for example, that deep fear that a lot of African Americans have, for example, with cops, we don't have that.
Yeah, we don't have that because it's not cultivated. It's not there yet.
It's not there yet.
Yeah.
So, but now I'll have, when I have kids, I'll have to teach them, hey, you know what? You're black. So now that talk that African Americans parents have with their kids, I'll have that talk with my kids.
And that's where I was going, right? So here you are having a conversation that's not linked to experience. At least you're just learning, whether it's things you're seeing, whether it's things that they're saying. So you're not learning it from when you were in daycare, kindergarten, high school. And I say this a lot about my experience of high schoolers is from movies that I see and friends that went to high school here. So I have two sons now. The oldest one is 4. What do I know enough to teach him about how he will navigate the school system, even nicknames that he will be called because of how he looks. Like, is this something we have to go learn in order to teach? How do we do this?
No, I think you don't need to learn what's right and what's wrong. You don't need to learn decency. So you have to teach that to the next generation how to be a man, and a man not as not as the gender, but a man as how to be a person, a human being, a
decent
good human being, right? So that's really what the challenge is. The challenge is to to raise someone to be a good human being, because you can't stop a bad person to interact with your child. That you cannot foresee that to happen or not. However, how your son, any of your sons react to that situation, that's something that you can have an influence on through education, right? Don't lie, for example. Don't steal. Have good manners. Be very respectful to people. Those are things that down the line will save a child, because if they're in a situation where instead of being arrogant, they're respectful. Instead of being afraid, they're confident. That could save their life down the road.
Yeah,
they can only get that from an education that the parent gave them.
Thanks for that, man. Thanks for that, because I remember when George Floyd happened. Man, I went through a hard time figuring out. I'm like, man, I have a black son. The things he will experience, I will not, because I came here around the same age as the age you came here. So if that's how long I spent in Africa before coming, it would be hard to teach something that is directly related to experience to my black son, who will experience it because he will live here. And I went through all this, and I asked a bunch of people. And again, here you are for the 100th time today. You've given me another perspective where, teach your son how to be a decent human being, period. And all the other things, he will navigate because he's just a decent human being, period. Right? Where the reality of the color of his skin, what he looks like, is not going to go away. Just like you said, he's not going to change that. But the decency as a human being will take him farther than just focusing on, the things that he can't change.
Right. That's it, man.
Bro, you see, the salt and pepper means something.
No. What you don't know is you don't know how many books I have open right here.
That's my boy.
I'm kidding.
Come on, it's all coming from here. You went to Harvard. You and Obama sat on the same chair.
No. It's what? It's this is something that I got from my dad. Really, it's just we have to sometimes just sit back, relax, and then just think about things. And I know you have. I know that. For me, it's easy because you're asking me questions and I'm giving you the answers. But I'm pretty sure if I were to ask you the same questions, similar answer will come out of you. Why? Because you were raised right.
Correct.
You were given
that I would say, because that's testament to my parents. It has nothing to do with me. Yes,
has nothing to do exactly. You were raised right. You were given all the basic tools that you needed, right, to be where you are today. Granted, you took those tools, you expended on it. Absolutely. You have to. But you were already given everything. Do you think that your parents sent you, or your mom and dad, rest God bless his soul, you think that they allowed you to come to America by yourself, not knowing that he's
not feeling confident in what they instilled in you?
No. Absolutely. So they knew.
They know
who
they know who they're sending. Who
they're sending. So,
bro,
that's a testament to them. And the same thing with me. So everything that I'm saying now is because if at like 40, 41 years old, I'm not able to think like that, then my mom and dad, they will be like, damn,
we failed.
We definitely failed. So No, it's just a reality of what we have to do.
A lot more I want to touch on, especially home, because I want us to kind of be solution oriented, right? And so because that will be a lot to talk about, man, get ready, man. I gotta have you again,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, absolutely, anytime.
But I'll close this way,
Yeah.
for that to be the perfect setup
Mhm.
for next time. All
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
so that we'll keep it hanging there.
Yeah.
Here you are. The last you went home was last year, right?
Right.
I'll paint a scenario where you go back towards the end of this year.
Mhm.
Because it's Habib from Boston, Massachusetts. You have your connections. You go to a party.
Yeah.
The party, you end up being in this very private setting where, guess who is sitting next? What's your Patrice Talon? Is his
Patrice
what's his
Talon,
name?
yeah. Patrice Talon.
Patrice Talon. Wow, Talon. What's Talon in French?
Heel.
Okay. Anyway,
His name is not a French name. It's a phone name, so it has a whole meaning. It's not a French name. It's just a coincidence. Yeah.
Oh, and it rang a bell because I still have my street French. I'm like,
Okay.
Talon, that's heel. Okay.
Heel. Talon is heel.
Here you are in a private setting. Boom. Here he is sitting next to you, and you have maybe 5-10 minutes cocktail chat. Right? He knows who you are right now. He knows how smart you are. He knows you're giving all these productive years of your life to America, and he's attracted by that. And now he wants to convince you and guilt you into, hey, you're from here. This is Benin. Come here and help. Better this country. You should come home. And you have only a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to say?
It's very easy, and it's two parts, right? The first part is know yourself. It's true. Know yourself and be true to yourself. Right? That's the first part. The second part is once you know who you are, then you know what to say. So if you are about money, and all you have to say is, Mr. President, hey, make it worthwhile for me to come, and I'll come.
Good.
And then they'll be like, hey, you know what? This is X amount of millions in your account. And you'll be like, okay,
let's go. Yeah.
For me personally, I'll have to tell Mr. President, I definitely want to come, but I don't want to come as an attaché to the president, because governments, they come and they go. When you go, what am I going to be doing? So I want to be able to create something for my own, like that I can keep, something that's going to be my own. I don't want to go back home to work for somebody, right? So that will be my chat. But it's funny, we don't have time to do this, but not to blow my own horn, but I have a direct line to Talon.
That's my boy.
A direct line to Talon. And you probably didn't know this. His son came to Boston. His son was studying in Boston.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, for a few years, his son was working in Boston. Studying in Boston. And I know him personally. I know Patrice Talon also. He is one of those uncles that I don't have any relation. But however, now I can't just see him anytime I want, because now he's Mr. President.
Yes.
But we have to be careful, because usually people want you for themselves, right? So they see, okay, you are very talented. I think you can do something great for me. You're not necessarily thinking, what can I do for you? So you have to do that thinking for yourself. And that's why I say you have to know yourself.
You have to know exactly,
you have to know what you want.
What your plan is.
Always trying to figure out what you want, and then be ready. People say usually in the job, when you're looking for a job, they say you have to have your elevator pitch. You have to have your elevator pitch elevator pitch.
Yes.
It's not just for job. It's for life. It's for life. You have to be ready at any moment in time where they say, "Hey, Mike," and you be like, "Yep, I'm here, and this is what I want."
And if you know you, then you always leave there with no regrets, because you know what to present.
You gave it all on the table. So if I were in that situation, like you said, I would give him my elevator pitch, and then I'll, which is, I'm really trying to build something here, and I'm really trying to. I really want to build something in Benin, and I don't know exactly what yet. And that was also one of the reasons why I'm trying to go back home as much as possible, to trying to figure out something, right?
Right.
But something that will allow me to be going back and forth.
Makes sense.
But if you can convince my wife to come back in Benin and just stay, let's go. That's
man. Yeah. Listen. Continue the conversation. For some, it's now, but others, it's just later down the line. Perfect place or a great place for retirement and stuff. When we talked about infrastructure, we talk about it. We didn't even talk about the health part, all the things that now become so important for you to have access to, and there is a challenge back home. And part of this conversation as I close is where all these stories from different places, different areas of Africa, because there's a whole lot of similarity. We want to bring that to light, right? So that, if that's why I said I want us to have this talk, this conversation, because the end goal is to come up with a plan, right? To come up with something that can make changes. And for you, that's why, especially the solution-oriented part of this conversation, I will have to have you back.
Absolutely.
We have a lot more to talk about. Yeah, I already stole a whole hour of your time, which you promised to give me, and I'm grateful.
It's a pleasure, man.
Bro, thank you very much for this, and I can't wait for us to continue this conversation.
Yeah, man. And I just want to end by saying this. I think it's a great thing that you're doing with this podcast. I can't wait to listen to more of it. I know that you've been interviewing people that I know that I haven't talked to in a while. So I would love to
hear their perspective.
To hear their perspective, and also to all those people listening to these conversations, right? Just take what you want, but listen to it through and through. Don't just listen to one part and not agree with it, and then just don't do that. Listen to the whole thing and try to understand the perspective of
perspective and opinion.
And opinion, and respect opinions, and take anything positive from that. The negative part, or what you feel that is negative, forget about it. Be like, this is not for me. And
if it's not for you, just you drop it. You have the right to. Bro, thank you again, man.
Yeah, man.
This is a